into okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Satya.
Yeah, as an operational manager, I involved with different processes and different projects in my company. But now I wanted to transform myself into a project management role. So that's why I studied some project management concepts and all. Afterwards, I attended some couple of interviews and I did not get selected. So I wanted to know the reasons why I was not selected ahead of others. Is it the competition, or is it the market side, or any other possibilities that I can grab as early as possible? So for that, I need to like refine myself in cracking the interview. But I'm sure once I selected, I'm able to reach the deadlines of the management of the project management related area. But I need some refinement. That's why I am interested in. I wanted to learn something. So, yeah, that's my part actually.
Sure. Thanks, Satya, for taking that initiative and start setting your context. This today's session, we will be covering generic concepts of the topics, not specific to any role or any individual as such, because the intention is to make sure most of us, including me as well, might be going through the similar challenges or similar issues. So this is like an open session today, where like each of us can start sharing our experiences, our perspectives, our learnings, or our challenges, or how we can go ahead in our careers. That's the intention of having this conversation today. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Satya, once again.
Yep.
And if required, like we can have a one-on-one conversation as well offline once we are done with this session today. Might not be today itself, but like, yes, we can touch base and we can have one-on-one conversation. Might not be with me, like anyone who is interested, they can also start having a conversation to see, we can like start like a buddy concept and see how we can work together or how we can help each other as a community.
Yep, that's really great initiative, Satish. One-on-one conversations to specifically address the specific needs of a specific person. That would work actually. Yeah.
That's true. Even I agree with that, Satya, because like that's when we can focus more on that individual specific context, and we can figure out what needs to be done, or what's the gap, or what's the improvement aspects needs to be focused by the specific individual. It's applicable for everyone, right? Not just for you. Yeah, just telling it. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, Yogesh.
Yeah, hi, Satish. Hi, Yogesh here.
Hi, Tejasvi. Hi, Varun. Hi, Prem Kumar. We are just getting started. So we can join this AHA slides. It's just a quick icebreaker before we get started. And I will share the link. You can join there as well. Nothing to worry. No personal details are captured. And you can join this Slido for question and answers. I could have minimized the tools, but I already shared that Slido for the questions. That later I realized that using that AHA slides could be a little bit easy for that icebreaker discussion. Okay, yes, we have 12 folks who join you. Hi, Abhijit. Hi, Jagan. Hi, Shilpa. Hi, Shafia.
Hi, Venkat.
Hello.
Hi. Good morning, good evening, wherever you're connected from. You can scan this QR code and you can join this hour slides. We'll just start at 10 to another minute. We will get started. Hi, Nitin. Okay, Nitin is still connecting. Hi, Nitin.
Hey, hi, Satish.
Okay, yes. We are already on recording. Nothing to worry. We will share the recording only with the attended participants. So don't worry about it. Any confidential information, no need to disclose your company names or anything as such. Or just we can feel free to have the conversation. That's what the thing is. And it is an open conversation. It's not like a specific role specific or individual specific or JD specific. That's not the conversation we are going to have today. Okay. We have few more folks join. Hi, Shravan. We'll find just now. Okay, let's get started.
Hi Leela, good morning.
Hi. Where are you connecting from?
I'm from Hyderabad.
Hyderabad. Wow. I'm also from Hyderabad. Me,
I'm connecting from Mumbai, Satish.
Mumbai. Okay. Hi, Yogesh.
Yeah,
Mumbai.
hi.
I was there at Mumbai in the month of December.
Oh, you would have been called me.
I'm not aware that you are from Mumbai. Otherwise, I could.
Last year I was in Bangalore for the entire year. Now I moved to Mumbai. Actually, I'm from Mumbai.
Okay. Okay.
So for project work, I went to Bangalore.
Okay. I know Shashank is from Pune. Chennai. Okay. Mumbai, Chennai.
I'm from Pune.
Pune. Nitin, I might be at Pune in the month of Feb and April. We need to
Okay,
connect
great.
then.
We'll plan. Yeah, sure.
Yes, yes, yes. So before COVID, Pune used to be like my second hometown. I used to come every month for some or other agile trainings. But after COVID and after this hybrid mode, it got started. I mean, it's reduced a little bit. RDR. Okay. Chennai is native. Okay. Okay. Let's move on. If not attending this session, what you could be doing on today? Sunday morning, long weekend. Still, 18 of us, including me, was here today's session. If you're not attending the session today, what else you could be doing?
I would be playing table tennis.
Wow, health freak, good.
Will be clearing my study backlog. A lot of
Study
is there
backlog.
pending.
Wow. Preparing for PMP exam, Varun. Wow. Shashank, looks like you have a partner for PMP.
Cheers. I will connect soon.
Sleep, yes. Sleep is the best part for me to do. But yes, being a facilitator, I can't sleep. That's the reason I woke up. I could have traveled hometown, but because I had been to the Pongal, that's why I'm still at Hyderabad today. And yes, I got some time to go through it. Okay. Let's get started. 5 minutes. Okay. If in case this is the first time we are connecting, this is me, Satish. 18 plus, it is on the slide, it is 17 plus. It is right now January. Welcome to 18th year. 18 plus years of IT overall experience and 6 to 7 years of Scrum, Kanban, Scrumban, XP, and Agile experience as such. And I work as a Agile coach at the enterprise level. So I worked with the multiple portfolios, the clients from the Agile transformation perspective, did a lot of trainings, the scale Agile versus internal trainings. And Agile enablement is what I focus more as a community activity, the way how we are doing now or the open session. I'm ambassador of Enterprise Agile Community, SS Agile Gurus, as you all know, Management Leader 2, International OKR Alliance, Agile Marketing Alliance, and recently I started a volunteer activity with the PMI as well from the Agile space. So a lot of different things from the community enablement perspective. The reason why I'm telling is like the main intention, main motto of myself as an individual is to help everyone be successful in their career, in their individual space, and grow and go ahead. That's what the community building is what we are doing as part of SS Agile Gurus as well. Okay, yes. Okay, yes, we have few questions here already. First, but let me go back to the Slido because we have few questions asked by our members in the Slido. Let's quickly go through the Slido questions first, and then we'll come back to this as well. So you can ask questions in any of the forums. Okay. Let me go through the simple questions first, and we can get started. Should a Scrum Master know how to code in the backend and front-end languages? What kind of expertise needed if one is from non-tech background? This is an open forum. Let's get started. Who would like to take it up?
This is the
Shall I
typical question, when
Yes, I know.
anyone
That's the reason we
transfer.
started with that question.
Yeah, even I had the same when I was in a QA background and jumping to SM. So same thought process. Yeah.
So,
In
what
my
kind of expertise is needed
So
if one
I
is from
yeah,
non-tech?
I feel like the Scrum Master doesn't need to know about the a technology, but he must be knowing about the project, the outcome
Mhm,
of the project.
mhm.
Because
Okay.
if you are expecting Scrum Master to be a coder, I think it makes no difference between the developer and you. You
Mm,
must be knowing how to implement the practices, and you must
mhm.
be knowing, or you should know, what is the outcome of the project and what is the purpose of the project.
Okay. Mhm. Yes.
Yeah, I agree with what
100%.
the previous guy said. There is no specific technical background is required. Either it is
Mm,
front end or back end as a Scrum Master. Scrum
mhm,
Master is nothing but a lead role in waterfall method. It's like, but
mhm,
you should know what the project is doing. What is that estimation complete in and out of the project management you should have aware. Okay,
mhm,
so with having coding knowledge is not at all required for any Scrum Master is concerned.
mhm.
But
Okay.
he should be a very good facilitator in order
Mhm,
to ensure that things done on time without having any issues at whatsoever.
mm. Okay. Mhm. Thanks, Nitin and Murali. Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would like to add to this question. For me, like apart from having the project in and outs and project scope and all the deliverables kind of thing, for me, for a technical Scrum Master, definitely needs some technology background. Not
Mhm,
necessarily the coding part as a developer does, but he needs to know the flow of
mm,
the technology modules, how they will reflect the story points or the end
mm,
product. He should have in mind so that he can be able to guide the developers whenever the bottlenecks comes or
mhm,
impediments they are facing in the stand up, so that he can facilitate that meeting much better. That's what my feeling. But he's not in detail a coder, but he should know the modules and the functionalities, how they would work at the front end side as well as the back end side, how the stored procedures work, what is the inputs, what are the outputs, so that he would be a better guide for the team as
mm,
a facilitator. That's what my opinion, Satish.
mhm, mhm. Thanks, Acha. Um, anyone else want to add?
Yeah. So in the everyone has the same correct thought process. We don't need not to have coding test background, to write test cases and create the execution. But we have to think from the eagle eye perspective, in the higher end, that why we are in the first place. Not
Mm,
from the conflict perspective, but we have to create some end of the day some productive value. What
mm,
valuation we are giving, what product value we are giving, right? So that the end user, the business should go happy and happy. So we should work with entire thought process, not from that key only facilitating will be good enough. We should have very command in our principles. Whatever we are doing, what is the scientific approach, what is the art, and what is the discipline behind that? If we
mm,
have managed to deliver this particular message and along with our development team, I think we are
mm,
good enough. No need to
mhm,
have such thing, but yes, we should have how things are processing, and we can stay. And for learning perspective, we can, hey, developer, can you teach me how is this happening, how code reviews? And yes, I'm doing this one. So
mm,
this
mm,
is, we
mm.
can do that.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Anyone else want to add before we go ahead?
Venkat, hi, Abhijit here.
Yeah, hi,
Uh,
Abhijit.
yes, actually, this question was asked by me because I
Mhm,
had come across a situation like this in a
mm, mm,
recent interview of mine with a IT company. So basically, the questions asked were asked by the interviewer were, by the CTO of the company.
mm,
What are the backend and basically, I don't hold any practical experience of being a Scrum Master. Okay. But
Okay.
even though I wanted to get into the role, I kind of not tried to fake it. But yes, since I am CSM certified, that doesn't suffice. I know that. But I do hold the basic, experience of it, and I know what happens once you start a Scrum. Okay, it's just that practically I'm not aware what really happens. I've seen people doing it, but I've personally not done it. All right. So the question raised by the interviewer, what are the backend and front-end softwares that you have been used? Have you been into code reviews? And have you done any, .NET coding, earlier in your career? Because this is something what we are looking at. Then the position was for a program manager who also holds Scrum experience.
Okay.
But in this case, and this is just one case, but with many companies, I've been interviewing for last 2 months or so. So they need a project manager or a program manager, but end of the day, they also need someone from the development background. So a person like me, who holds a 12 years of experience into the waterfall methodology with non-tech, experience, how can he or she, upgrading skills is one part, right? Doing CSM, doing PMP, doing whatnot courses. But again, to get in, they want who is experienced.
Yes.
So this is where the gap is. So everyone wants, I think a few days back someone mentioned that everyone wants the sugar puffy.
Yes, that's correct, Abhijit. So let me be frank here. So the job descriptions, what they mention versus the actual ground reality might be a little bit different. Right? So because the job description will be published openly across the LinkedIn, whatnot, like different social media sites, they want to be like, hey, we are following pure Scrum or pure Agile 100%. So the job description might be beautifully decorated, but when you go to the interview or when you join the project is when we will get to know what's the actual reality. Right? That is one thing. The second thing is like, as a Scrum Master or as a project manager, as a program manager, it might be the expectation of the organization or of the project or the recruiting manager from our side, from as a candidate, that we should be aware of what's the technology being used or what's the context being used, as Murali, Nitin, and others mentioned, right? So we need to be aware of what is the back end, what's the front end, and how that integration happens. Might not be the exact coding. Right? If they are expecting you have to do the coding as well, then that is entirely different conversation. But we should be aware of what is that the technology is being used and which versions as well, not just the technology, because like there are different things, different tools which is being used. And in one of the question or in the group, there's someone mentioned like what is a CI/CD pipeline, or how frequently the code gets integrated, or what's the process the moment your development team completes your coding or the development, what happens next. So we need to be aware of in and out of the concepts, not the implementation. So there is a difference in that, right? So the way they ask the questions, do you know the coding, you want to do the coding, have you done the code reviews, could be for two different reasons. Right. I will be optimistic every time, so I will try to consider different perspectives. Two different reasons. One is like to check whether you have a real hands-on experience and can you be of any help to the team if in case they stuck or anything. Or the other perspective is like, what if like someone is just trying to jump into that Scrum Master role without having the thing? What if they have did some anti-patterns in the previous roles or previous organizations? There are three different perspectives. I mentioned two, but three came out. So three different perspectives could be coming up from the panelist perspective. We don't know. We can't understand or analyze what the reason why they're asking that question. Right. So let me share my experience. In one of the interview, I got these questions, the similar questions. I mentioned, yes, I am part of code reviews. I did the code check-ins and help the team with the facilitation, with the discussions and everything. Then the answer I got from the panelist is like, hey, we are looking for a pure Scrum Master. We don't need who has hands-on. we are not shortlisting you. Right? The same panelist, the same role. One of my another friend went for that. He mentioned like, hey, I'm not from a coding background. I don't have anything. Then the feedback he got for the same panelist is like, we are looking for someone who is with hands-on. It is like we cannot assess or we cannot understand what's the reason, what's the logic they are giving. There's reasons. They might be having something else which might not be clear upfront. Unfortunately, we say transparency, but the interviews is where we miss the transparency, right? The panelist might not be transparent in the reason they are giving it. So nothing to worry about it. Don't worry or don't stop thinking about it. Only thing is like how we can improve from interview to interview, or how we can improve from discussion to discussion is what we need to focus. Does it help your context, Abhijit?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
Satish.
yes, Murali, you're saying something.
Satish, Yogesh here.
Yes, Yogesh.
Yes, Satish, actually I cleared 2 rounds. My 1 round is left. So I usually what I do after doing the personal introduction, sometimes it helps. Before even they start asking me questions and all, I usually ask them what are their pain areas.
Good.
Because if I know the
Mm.
pain areas, I can redirect that person to that specific path of an interview.
Yes, this is very smart technique, Yogesh. Yes, I agree with that. Yes.
Because after if I know the pain areas, what exactly the pain they are facing, then I can focus on those areas only. So I can redirect him and make him do a round robin or kind of any questions we'll ask regarding to the pain areas only then.
Yes. So this is very excellent technique, Yogesh, which you're using. And this way you're taking the control or you're taking the lead in the discussion rather than letting the panelist take the lead.
Yeah.
Yes, that helps a lot.
Yogesh, I have a counter question. Sometimes it's good, the panelists will open up, hey, this is a set of pain areas and we want someone to fix this one, right? Sometimes the panelists know their candidate trick. Okay, these are he's asking set of questions. When I answer this, he will counter me with solution. What if I don't tell? If I'm the panelist, hey, let's not jump about this. I don't want to share my pain areas, and let's continue about the thing, and let's start with the introduction.
So let's say you say that you don't want to share your pain areas. In that case, what I will say, okay, let's assume you are starting a new project with a new team.
Okay.
Yes.
Absolutely fresh team, new product owner, new scrum master, and the entire team is new.
Okay.
So based on that, you can choose another path. Now he will ask now how you will train those new people, how you will groom the product owner and all. So basically, once you know what's in their mind, you can take the control of their mind and revolve the questions around. Basically, you have to take them on a certain path.
Yes.
Agreed. But again, in as per my what I am experiencing with interviews and real time scenarios, most of the projects, they don't start with from the fresh. We as a Scrum Master will be hiring, middle of the thing, and they will straight away they'll, hey, this is not the new project altogether. We have set so and so Scrum Master, we have development team, product owner, and these are the set of things. We due to some financial thing, we lay off our Scrum Master, and you will be the new Scrum Master. Now, sometimes what happens, they will set the context or the scenarios rather than we pitching up.
So basically, they will ask the questions which their previous Scrum Master was not able to deliver.
Yeah. Sometimes this happens. Your point is right. Sometimes if we pitch, so they will counter pitch us. Hey, how come this guy is saying? So there will be some psychological thing. Okay, how can this guy is asking? So there will be always a counter. So we have to be very much cautious. We have to listen a lot.
No, but they will know that I'm very much interested to resolve their pain areas.
Yeah. Satish sir, over to you.
Yeah, the Prem Kumar mentioned like panel may not always be from the project. They just take the interview for some project supporting. Yes, that also happens many times. Prem. So Shashank, what the point which Yogesh mentioned, right? So it might work sometimes, as you mentioned. Right? Sure, might not work every time, but the way as you mentioned, right? So let's suppose Yogesh is the candidate and you are the panelist.
Yeah.
So Yogesh asked that, hey, let's assume it is a brand new project. You're starting fresh from the scratch with a new product on a new team.
Yeah.
Then you counter question or you set the context, hey, this is not a new team. We are taking you as a replacement. So then
Yeah.
Yogesh as a candidate get to know, okay, yes, this is not a, then we can start having the conversation. It's not a
Yeah.
questioning as such, but it is to set the context and it to
Yeah.
set the conversation to take it further. And again, not every time might be it might work, but definitely the chances are there that we will at least get to know the context what
Yeah.
the panelist is looking for, whether it is
Yeah.
a generic interview or whether it is like at least they will try to, oh, okay, yes, don't assume we are not a new project, we are already there for last 2 years or 3 years, and the team is already in the mid of the agile transformation, something like at least one or two information we will get to know, and accordingly we need to tweak, adjust, or we can frame our answers for the follow-up questions.
And
Yeah,
on
even
top
we
of
can.
that, if we sprinkle our agile manifesto, agile principle on top of that, just giving periodical theoretical, I think that is the best thing, because the moment multiple interview I failed, there is always one thing, Shashank, whatever you giving may be the right thing and it happened, but I can't see any context or any connecting dots from agile manifesto or agile principles. So that's what I learned, that we have to connect our principles with practical and we have to make our things happen.
Yes, Shashank, what I will suggest, I mean, this again, I'm just continuously doing the interviews because due to personal reason, that's a Satish for entire forum. I'm looking out for an opportunity either in Pune or Mumbai. So if you have any connects, that I will connect with you offline. But rest of the team, if they know anything, so I can share my profile with you guys. Point number two, I was mentioning, Shashank, you said we have to set the context, as rightly said by Satish. Even we can ask the interviewer, if you think that interview is not coming from the agile background, we can also check his background. So we can straight away ask him a question, have you ever worked in agile or like something like that? Or have you done any agile project prior in your organization? So we will come to know whether he's from agile background or he's a general project manager, or it's a generic question answer going to happen. I mean, I usually straightforward ask these questions to these guys because most of the time the first round of interview might be coming from a generic perspective. The second round might be taken by a scrum master or a senior scrum master. So they want to shortlist the first round candidates. So they usually ask the generic questions. They might be about your agile manifestos and then principles and scrum roles and scrum principles. So they usually try to understand whether you at least know the theoretical knowledge about the scrum or agile. So if you know agile in depth, I mean, if you start talking about the agile mindsets and what is the important factor out of those 4 principles, then you can finish out that round in 15-20 minutes. The only thing we have to do, Shashank, is that we have to take the control of the interview.
Yes, that's true.
And
That's
our answer should be, in a way like, this is the technique I have learned. While giving the answer, you should pause or focus or you pitch in a way that your next question should be hidden in your answer.
Exactly. I agree with that, Yogesh. I keep on saying the same thing. So we should take the lead, we should take the control, and the way we are, the panelist asks the question should be coming from our answer. So it might need a lot of practice and effort, right? So what do you say? Like, if in case, let's suppose, like the panelist asked a question and we framed an answer and we gave that answer. So the next question, 90% of the time, could be a follow-up question for the answer we have given. So we need to frame the answer in such a way that whatever we are good at or whatever we are strong, we need to include those terminologies or those concepts. We need to try to bring in that perspective. Of course, the context and the question specific. We can't bring in like, let's suppose if the question is from the let's suppose the agile transformation initiation perspective, we can't bring in the retrospective or anything. So it should be interlinked, or it should be connected to the question perspective, and then the way we answer the question should lead the next question. So that way, there is another technique, either you clubbed with the previous technique or the topic which Yogesh mentioned, and this is another way how we as a candidate take the lead in the discussion. And this type of questions could be 40 to 60% of the questions could be scenario situation based, majority of the cases.
Yeah.
And if these two techniques are followed, yes, we can take the lead. The result could be different.
Yeah.
The result could be different because just now, as I mentioned, right, there might be multiple reasons why, as a candidate, whether we get selected or not. That is all
That's true.
based upon different perspectives, like the CTC, the context of the organization, the way of the candidate they're looking for, and different perspectives, different logics. But yes, we will be taking the lead. Okay.
Yeah.
And just before moving on to the next question, Abhijit, coming back to this question, right? What kind of expertise is needed if from non-tech background? See, I started my career in a QA, and that point of time, my project is on Java. Then I moved to a different project. There, the project is on .NET and the different database. Then another project, different front end, different back end, different database. So each and every project, the front end, back end, and the database might be entirely different. So there is no single way. All of us know everything. We are not ChatGPTs or we are not AIs. So we don't know. None of us might be aware of each and every technology, each and every front end, back end. But we need to be aware of what the team is doing, how they do the coding, how they do the integration, how they do the code mesh, how they do the code deployment, and what's the frequency, what's the guidelines. That concepts we need to be aware of. Right now, I'm working on a cloud project implementation. So before the project, I don't know anything about cloud except the spelling. I know that, oh, okay, some server, some cloud will be there. The team will be doing that in deployment and integration implementation there. But from the time I got selected for that project till the time I joined, I started going through that Udemy courses or the YouTube and the material, and I got some basic idea of what is that cloud and how the implementation happens and what could be the typical challenges the team faces. Because when I joined as a new Scrum Master, a new coach for the team, that point of time, we might not be aware of the technology, but 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year down the line, if we still stay the same, that's when the challenge comes. If someone comes to me as an individual, as a panelist and say that, hey, I'm working for this in this project for 2 years, but I don't know what is the front end, what is the back end, that's a red alert for the panelist. Right? So
Satish, before we move to the next question, should a Scrum Master know? So if somebody asks me this question, I will try to answer in this way.
Sure.
It's not required to have a code or backend or front end knowledge, but he should. So now, Shashank, listen to my answer. What I will say that I will check whether the product owner done the story mapping properly or not, whether he has created the user journey. And you should, as a Scrum Master, you should know what is the user journey which is done in the story mapping. So if he emphasize on story mapping word, he will next question he will ask what is the story mapping.
Yes.
So if you know the story mapping, you should know what is the x-axis and y-axis, how they are connected, how they are integrated. Then you should know like how the user journey is following. I mean, if you log in, what screens you will might go and touch and do whatever activities a single user, if he logs in as an admin, if he logs in as a normal user. So you have to mention that user journey, and that prioritization technique has to be in a way like it in coordination with the story mapping. So that if you focus on story mapping, his next question will be on how you are going to use the story mapping technique in your Scrum or whatever product backlog refinement or product backlog prioritization. Do you agree?
My two
Do you agree, sir?
sorry, my Murli here. My 2 cents of experience tells me that it is important that the Scrum Master be aligned with, as Yogesh said, be aligned with the domain, with the kind of user stories that is being brought up for that particular sprint. Of course, we need technology, but that becomes a secondary skill. But primary is how closely a Scrum Master is aligned to the domain, and also how closely the Scrum Master can work with the product owner. Because see, that is where our input, even if we are from a non-technical background, that is where our expertise and our capability to contribute really pitches in. This is
Yes, Murli, agree with you totally. Yeah. Are you good with this question? Shall we go ahead?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Thanks, everyone. And more or less the same way we discussed this question as well. What are the most used backend, front-end languages or technologies by top companies in app and web development? There are multiple front-end, backend languages or technologies, right? So there is no one single tool or front-end, backend technologies or languages used, because I work for a client where some of them use Java, some of them use .NET, some of them use a different technology, different tool, a combination and everything. So there is no one single front end and back end technology which is being used for this app and web development. So I guess this is connected to the previous question. That's the reason I clubbed together. We can go ahead. Okay. So the similar question, does the Scrum Master Tech program manager need to learn Tableau or Power BI to excel in career? So let me add my points here. Might not be required, but yes, learning this or having an idea could be helpful to some extent. My context, we use Power BI reports in multiple contexts, multiple perspectives. So, because we all know Jira as a simple tool will not help us give all the required information. Even if it is giving it, we need to pitch between project to project or dashboard to dashboard and everything. So that's the reason we use Power BI as a consolidated tool to gather the information from Jira and publish the dashboard. So from that perspective, my current context, I've been working as an agile coach. We have a separate dedicated Power BI team. So whatever we need, they will be creating the Power BI dashboard or report and they will give it to us. So we just need to set the context to them, what it is required or why we want that information, what's the context. Accordingly, they will prepare the report and they will give it to us. The reason the Power BI will be dealing with the backend tables or the information of the Jira or any other tool to that matter, right? So not every organization, whether it is service or product based company, not every organization want to give that access to everyone or even to the scrum masters or coaches. So that could be one reason why the Power BI might not be allowed to be accessed by everyone. But yes, having that information or having that knowledge can be definitely helpful, because some of the organizations, they want the scrum masters or the program managers to lead or generate these Power BI reports or the Tableau reports. So we need to take a look at the JD, or at least we can start with the basic information. What is a Power BI? What is a Tableau? What is being used? How it is being used? And there could be free Udemy courses on our YouTube links where we can get a basic idea of what is that or how to get it. And we can try to have a free access of Jira and Power BI, and we can start practicing on our own. Shashank, you want to add from your experience?
Yeah, so my wife recently trained under Power BI. So as Satisha said, no one has that particular much access. When you work with consulting firm, they don't give you access for that, for sure. Separate dedicated team, and you need to connect the dots, saying that, hey, in my organization we have separate dedicated team, and those folks are doing the getting the reports by raising the tickets, and we need to follow. B, when you have set of data, you cannot delete. I think, please correct me. We won't have the edit and delete option. We can only view. So
Yes.
if you have set of data, we can only do some plus minus thing, and we can generate the reports. Nothing much we can do, as per my understanding. And yes, is learning a tool is not a bad thing. And Power BI, to be honest, Power BI is a tool where we can learn SQL, number one. We can have the knowledge of customization, graphical representation. That's amazing, pretty much tool. And as Satisha said, we can connect the dots with Power BI and Jira. That is amazing. So having a tool knowledge, it's amazing tool. And in the same thing, we can learn SQL also. If we don't have the idea, we can learn SQL, but that is to only view level. Because we are not a DBA guy, or we are not a tech guy to edit the thing and delete or drop whatever the truncate the thing. We can only run the whatever set of data we have. That's it we can do. and it's always good. But again, when you are going for interview, if this is question for interview perspective, if I would be the candidate, I would say, hey, in our organization, we have dedicated team. We need to raise a ticket. We have to set the context and the query. We need to say this is the set of data we require, and within the set of timeline, they helping us with the data or reports so that we can share to our management. But as you know, we don't have that access because your organization also leading. So tomorrow, if you give me the access, and by mistake any production data gone for a toss, you will be terminating without any single notice, right? So this is the thing. But yes, learning is a good. It's by the way, it's open source Power BI. We can learn it, and there's multiple data sources there. We can play around with that. Next.
So is any course available on Power BI or Tableau in Udemy?
It could be some, Yogesh. Let me check once.
Okay.
On learn.microsoft.com, there are free courses.
Yeah.
Can you put that in chat?
And also you can check on LinkedIn. There is separate community. I have joined a couple of. So they are publishing their training. They are publishing their free courses, as Varun said. So you can grab in and start working and play around with that. So
Okay. Thanks, Shashank.
And
but Tableau
Shashank,
is it's not open source. It's a paid tool. So you need to purchase. It's a heavy tool. Not most of the organization they are using. So
Tableau can be learned from public.tableau.com. So that is also
free. Is it free?
Yeah, free.
Okay, thanks. We'll have to
Varun, can you share that link as well?
Yeah, both the links for Power BI as well as Tableau.
Yeah. See, we are getting a lot of information. Yes, that's the intention of these sessions. Okay, so just to add on the Shashank's point, the answer which he mentioned, right? So by looking at the job description, if the job description mentioned as a Scrum Master, as a project manager, program manager, you need to generate or you need to run the Power BI reports, that's when we may have to tweak a little bit the answer, right? So as Shashank mentioned, like we can mention, hey, my previous engagement, we have a separate dedicated team who run the Power BI. However, based on my personal interest, I learned on my own. So we need to be clear about it. I learned the Power BI using this learn.microsoft.com, or I did my own practice using my personal Jira. Like that, we need to set the context. So that way, indirectly, we are showcasing that we are focusing on that continuous learning aspect as well.
I still remember for Capgemini interview, it was, I counted, 12 pointer JD was there, 12 pointer. And first top 4 was Scrum Master. I already discussed with Satish sir. Rest 8 what typical technical, CI/CD, AWS, every contest and peer coding and everything. I went, that is my first interview after my having training and I understanding, as a Scrum Master role. I went on the faith of those 4 top points. I didn't saw the bottom. When I saw the JD after, when I got selected in Capgemini after working 6 months, when I saw in my email and I was going through this one job description, I found that top 4 was pretty much sure. Rest 8, they didn't bother to ask me. No, it was there in my JD. So as Satish said multiple times, your JD plays a mirror to you. Whatever you showcase, they are going to be asking you. So if you know something, good. If I don't know CI/CD pipeline, if I put by mistake or by intention, whatever it is, they will be grilling for me, sure, because hey, this is CI/CD. I know CI/CD. Let me ask the candidate. Then ball is in his court, not in mine. So that is the experience I would like to share to you. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, we got the 2 links. Thanks, Varun, for sharing that for Tableau and Power BI. Let's move ahead. Okay. Yes. So this is a question we started discussing. What should not be in the CV to avoid any backfiring from the interviewer? Whatever we are confident, whatever we are clear, whatever we can answer, we can justify, we can explain any question asked, only that should be there in the resume. That's it. Simple. Right? So take a look at resume multiple times before going for any interview. Same is the case with the job JD as well, right? So take a look at the resume, take a look at the job description, just now as Shashank mentioned, right? So let's suppose the JD is mentioning about CI/CD, and in case your resume has that CI/CD integration, CI/CD pipeline, definitely we will get the questions. Because panelists might say, you mentioned in your resume, forget about the JD, but you mentioned in your resume, without knowing what's the reason, what's the logic you kept, you mentioned in your resume that you have this experience. So whatever we are not clear, whatever we are not sure, whatever we are unable to answer, whatever we cannot justify for any reason, better never ever mention that in the resume. Simple, straightforward. Whatever you can explain, whatever you can justify, whatever you can help set the context to the panelist, keep that in the resume. That's it. Right. So example, like I worked in Rally as a tool in between like 2014 to 2018. So it's been 6 years. Now, if someone asked me, hey, I want you to come and help with the Rally, I don't have experience working in that 6 years. So I need to set that context clearly, either in the resume or in the interview. Otherwise, we'll get a question, hey, we are expecting someone who is expert in Rally. So your resume is mentioning about it. So explain, or the grilling will get started at that point of time. Okay. Right? You're good. So whatever is we are not clear, whatever we don't want the panelists to focus on, not to keep that in the CV. Simple. Anyone else want to add?
Hi Satish, this is Achyut.
Hi, Achyut.
Actually, the thing is, I want to ask a question. In the recent times, I have given.
Achyut, you're on mute.
Yeah. In the recent times, I have given 2 interviews. In both of them, I got qualified for the first round. So they asked all the basic stuff in the interview regarding what is Scrum, the Agile Manifesto, how would I solve impediments, and they have asked me like 7 to 10 real-time scenarios, like the incidental questions. So in the coming week, I have the second round. So I am curious about what they might ask in the second round. She was mentioning that it's like most of a managerial round where they'll have these technical questions. So it would be glad if you throw some light on the same.
Okay. The technical questions, you need to cross check the JD for sure, right? So JD might give some direction or might give some indication what could be the set of questions might be coming up, right? And based upon, if in case sometimes they might mention about the project or sometimes they might mention about the technologies they use or they're looking for, based upon that, they might get the, they might frame the questions on that. And not every time, again, based upon the role, there might be a small here and there, the type of questions they ask. The questions could be on how we facilitate the conversation, or how we help the team, or how we guide the team from the implementation perspective, but might not be from the how you go and resolve that challenge, or how you go and do the coding. You got that point, Achyut?
Yeah.
And what's the role it is for, if I may know?
Scrum Master only.
Scrum Master. Okay. So Scrum Master, the technical interview could be typically like, okay, your team got stuck with this impediment. So how do you facilitate the conversation to the team? Or how do you help the team do the, your team did the code check-in and the production or the deployment broke. What will you do as a Scrum Master? So these type of questions could be coming up in that discussion. And based upon the answer, whatever you give, they will start asking the follow-up questions.
Okay, understood. Actually,
And,
to be more precise, I was just confused. Like, I'm not a IT person, so what might be the consequence if they ask me about what are the technicalities that you use, what are the software techniques that you implemented in Scrum, like so.
So that might not be the typical question. Even if they come, you can mention help the team implement, or the team took care of the implementation, and there's a team lead who, or the manager who is driving the development or the implementation. Yeah. Okay. Anyone want to add any point for this CV question before you go ahead?
So Achyut, this is Achyut. Achyut, try to go through the previous round questions. You
Okay.
know, sometimes it might happen that you might occur the same thing. Don't underestimate those.
Okay.
Second point will be, sorry for background news. Second point will be Agile Manifesto, Agile Principles. Be thorough and try.
Okay. You're audible, Yogesh.
No, I guess, Yogesh, I'm muting you.
I think he has some background noise.
Yeah, Shashank?
He has some network issues.
Okay. So, Achyut, what happens, right? Sometimes the same questions might be asked in a different format as well, or what do you say, the different complexity level. Right. So, like the impediments and all those things was asked in your first round, right? So the same questions might be asked in a different context. Let's assume like the round one, they ask like, you are going for a sprint planning. Your team member is not available for the sprint planning. What will you do as a scrum master? Or let's assume your product owner is not available for the sprint planning. What will you do? Now, in the second round, the same question might be asked in a different complexity. In that, hey, your product owner is not available and your backlog is also not ready.
Okay.
Right? So they might increase the complexity, or they might tweak the scenarios, they might tweak the situations, or they might say that uh, your product owner is available, but the backlog is not ready. You're not available as a scrum master. Maybe you might be on some personal emergency or some unplanned leave. So what might happen to the team? It's not about just you. What the team could be doing in your absence, or if you, in case you're not present. Right? This is for everyone, right? So these type of questions also we might get in the interview.
So in that case, we'll postpone the sprint planning date, right?
What if your dependent teams are waiting for your team commitment?
Okay. So then we should find an alternative for that. Is it like so?
Yes. Right. See, indirectly, it will come back to us saying, hey, what is it you're doing as a scrum master until sprint planning without making your backlog ready?
Okay.
Right. So we need to connect the dots. So just don't focus on that specific question or that specific scenario. So you need to say, oh, okay, yes, they're saying it's sprint planning day, product owner is available, but the backlog is not ready. So immediate question could be, hey, what is it you are doing, or how will you help your product owner to keep the backlog ready until the sprint planning? What could have been done?
Can I answer this? Even here?
Yes, please.
Yes, I faced the situation in my previous sprint. I was not there. Product owner was not there. Backlog is not ready.
See?
But the team did with the help of business analyst, they make sure that the product backlog is ready. They refined the backlog. They took it to the sprint.
Excellent.
This is one of the answer that we can give. But the team has to be matured enough. If the team is not matured enough, what are all the pitfalls you will face? Also, I have faced.
That's true, Asu. So, if I may ask you, is it a real thing happened? Like your team really took care of the backlog? And
yes, absolutely. Because the business analyst was there. Before I went for the leave, I instructed my business analyst that at least for the sprint, there are 4 or 5 spillovers. Make sure that the team is fully occupied. And before I go for the leave, I gave her the capacity plan. So this is the capacity that the team is available with the backlogs, with the spillovers. Please make sure that they are fed. The team is fed with enough stories so that they can work for the sprint.
Yes.
And based on that, the product owner said, I am on vacation. Sorry, you guys. So somehow with the help of the business analyst, I managed everything. So that is what. And the business analyst was available.
That is one good thing, and good that the business owner know the context, what is to be done. That's what it helped. If I have to say,
Before my product owner went for a vacation, we had a sit and then we make sure that for the next 3 sprints, what are all the features to be taken up, dependencies, interdependence, everything.
Yes.
We sorted out. He said that why this? No, no, no. You have to do it. We forced the product owner to sit for 8 hours, one full day, and squeezed whatever we needed, and then he went for a happy vacation for 2 to 3 weeks. This is what you should always think as a Scrum Master.
Exactly. As we keep on saying that the self-organizing, self-managing team, this is what the context of the team. So we can't babysit the team, or we can't be with the team throughout, right? So we also as individuals, we also are employees, we are also the associates, we also need to be on leave or the vacation. The same case, the product owner, anyone. So nothing should stop. Nothing should delay or postpone or reschedule because one specific individual is not there. So there is what the context. Okay.
Satish, hi, Abhijit.
Yes, Sarjit.
So in one of my interviews recently, following up with the same context, I was asked, what if one of the developers goes on emergency leave, and the client needs the project on urgent basis, and you had planned your entire project life cycle, all your dependencies and everything accordingly. Okay. What if there's no one in the company available? What would you do? And the client has, a strict budget and a timeline. The budget cannot increase, the timeline cannot increase because there's a release that is planned. Okay. So, as per my understanding, as per my understanding, what I told him is, first of all, you have already cut my roots, wherein, I could use someone from the same organization. Okay. So if the company policy allows, I would hire a freelancer, okay, from any of the sites, okay, which he or she would be, experienced developers. We would, my development lead would review his or her work, and then we would, come to an agreement and hire this person. Okay, this was my answer. Then the counter question on this was, what if, the developer understands the urgency and is charging you, is charging you very high rate, which is actually disrupting your entire project budget and your company is going into loss. Okay. Then what you might do? Okay. So I said I would definitely not leave the. I'll definitely try other ways. Okay. I try to negotiate with the person, but end of the day, if nothing is working out, I'll definitely hire this person and get my project done first time right and accurately. Because anyways, if I deliver this project on time and within the client's budget, the client is going to come back in future with more projects, or the client might reflect to this project and recommend my company to some other clients or to some other teams within his or her company. So at times we might have to take losses for the time being for any of the projects. So this is what my answer was. So is it right, or how would people might have different perspectives on this kind of situation?
Yeah, I would like someone else to share their perspectives before I share mine.
Instead of putting clients' money, I would say, can we have the culture of continuous learning?
Okay. Continuous learning is one thing. Yes, we'll come to that, Shashank. Yes.
Yeah, if that particular project resources are not available, then we can take the help of the other teams for the time being. That would also work instead of going for third-party hiring.
Yes. Thanks, Sacha. Anyone else?
Internal coaching will be more beneficial. That is within the team, because I cannot hire from a very short span of time within the particular deliverable or schedule. It will take time consuming a task as well as it is a cost for the project. So internal training will be more helpful for our deliverables.
Yes, yes.
Just to give the context, the interviewer already cut this up, wherein in the first line itself, she mentioned that everyone from your organization, from the development team, is not available. No one is available. Then what will you do? So taking someone internal from other teams is not an option at all. And you cannot tell the client that we might have to postpone the project because no one from the organization is available. This is the context of that question.
Okay.
So, in your case, the question is your development team, but an organization generally has multiple Scrum teams. So you can take up this issue to in the Scrum of Scrums and ask for other Scrum Masters if anybody has got any available developers that can assist, because it will be on the similar kind of subject matter expertise will be there that can help from the functional side also, not just the technical side. So that might help you, but this is one of the ideas that I just want to bring up.
Yeah,
And
but as per Abhijit, he mentioned, like the panelist mentioned, none of the other developers also is available.
Okay, so Abhijit, can we assume we don't have bench strength also? Because in organization, consulting firm, let's say top 10 tech and Wipro, Infosys, we have a lot of bench people.
Nothing is available. I actually tried asking, questioning the interviewer and everything, that maybe someone
is that company available? I just want to know, is that company available, to be honest? Because this is not the ideal scenario that nothing is available. Your development is team, the backup team is not there. Your bench strength is, because generally it's happened, because it happened with me. My core developer out of the option because emergency. Thankfully, I installed that continuous learning enablement that was going on. That's fine. Plus, I approached to my bench people, or being a Scrum Master, I don't have the authority like a project manager. Hey, I can pull this resource, that resource. That is not my forte. I spoke to my project manager. Hey, can we use set of people from bench? When we are saying bench, your company is giving salary from their pocket, which is not a good thing. You need to be as soon as into project. When I approached, 10 CVs came in my pocket. Ki, hey, Shashank, just check whether whatever suitable to him or her, grab it. So this is the ideal scenario where you have to utilize your bench strength. You should not saying that we don't have nothing, we don't have backup, we don't have Scrum team, we don't have bench, we don't have anything, but we need deliverables. Then it is very difficult as a project manager, first of all, to sustain that particular heat. Is a question for project manager perspective. How can you survive in that area where you don't have anything? You don't have a bench team to work. You don't have development team. Yet you have to deliver the product end of the day. Very difficult. Again, you can't hire the freelancer as well. So this is my perspective.
I know the context. I know the context where the panelist might be coming from. Okay, so this type of this type of scenarios become more common, especially during the COVID.
Okay.
See, let's suppose it's a small startup or a product-based company where we don't have bench.
Okay.
Typically, product companies won't have any bench or anything, right? So everyone is engaged. And what if half of your team was sick? Or what if half of your team was out for some emergencies? No, we can't do anything. Even if we start looking for hiring, it may take at least 2 to 3 weeks of time. Even if we fast track the process, by the time we might be slipping the deliverables already. Right? So these type of situations really happened during the COVID for many projects or many organizations. That's the reason these type of questions are coming up. Yeah. Right? And to your point, what if we have the bench strength, but what if none of the bench folks are expert in our skills or expert in our domain? Maybe they might be aware of the skills, maybe the Java, .NET or anything, but they might be from different background or different domain. Even for them, it might take some time, at least 1 week, to start picking up the pace. Right? So any of the thing, yes, this might be context. Of course, this won't be the real time right now, or this might not be happening, because the first thing is like we need to start having a contingency plan, or many organizations started having a backup plans or alternate scopes or adjustment of the scope, or going back to the client and discussing about the negotiation of the scope and all those things. It is happening, but during the COVID, many projects had gone through these projects gone for a toss because of unexpected emergencies or anything happen across the teams. I mean, just to set the context, yes, this could be a real-time situation happening or happened across the organizations. And coming to Varun's point, Varun, yes, we can ask or we can bring up in the Scrum of Scrum and we can ask, hey, can we, let's suppose Shashank, Varun and me, we three are Scrum Masters and Abhijit is the Scrum Master where he need the support or guidance for his team. Right. So Abhijit might be bringing up this point saying, hey, can you help us? My team, half of my team is on sick leave emergency. We gave the commitment to the client. So can you lend or can you help us, our team? We also might be in a similar situation at that point of time. I'm talking about during the COVID, right? The peak COVID, the wave 1 and wave 2, almost every organization got impacted.
Yeah, Satish, one my clarification. Since the impact is a pandemic and everybody understand the worldwide scenario, does the client also insist us to be delivered on time within the budget at that situation?
Might not be on the budget, but
Time.
might be on the timeline. Might be on the timeline.
Because he should also understand the worldwide situation, right? But we
Yes,
should
yes.
convince somehow.
That is a real time Satya, but the context what Abhijit's panelist is asking is like,
Yeah.
you want to analyze or assess how we as a Scrum Master tackle that situation.
So, Satish, so what will be the ideal solution for this? Because, it's a generic and it's a real-time scenario what you hit that COVID 1 and 2 and business was going top, project was not up to the mark, right? As a Scrum Master, as an Agile coach, how we are going to assess this particular situation as part of learning?
Yeah, let me share my personal experience. The similar thing happened in our project. So what happened, like we all know that till mid of March 2020, the lockdown was not announced. I guess around 20th of March or sometime, the lockdown was announced. Until then, we were going to office. We are working for a banking client, the financial client, and we all know that it is a ODC, which means we don't even have any access to laptops or anything. Right, we have to work only on the client desktop that too from the office itself. So all of a sudden, lockdown announced, we all got stuck at home. We don't have machines. We are available as a team members. We are available, but we don't have machines. We don't have network to connect, and we need to work. At the same time, the US government announced that by so and so date, you need to implement this, that no penalty for delay in EMIs, no impact to the credit score if the delay in the EMIs, do some rollback of the payments, all some new, unknown, unexpected, unplanned scope with the timelines, defined timeline. By so and so date, you need to do this. As a bank, we have to follow the government. It is not our context. It is not a planned feature. It is not our timelines or our commitments. It is directly coming from the government. Right? We are getting the context. We are available as a team members, but we don't have the network. We don't have the connectivity, or we don't have the resources to work to connect to the network and do the deliverables. So that is where we realign, we repurpose, the whole implementation got stopped. Of course, because whatever we are working, it is not relevant anymore. We have to stop all the new functionality implementation, everything. The whole US team, they have the access to the laptops, they have the access, because being there at US, they have the laptops and the network connected to everything. They started picking up what is that the critical functionality which needs to be rolled out to the government or to the banking clients as a first step. Right? And this is not the only impact to our bank. It is the same situation for every other bank. Not just for one bank or one organization, right? Every other bank is going through the same situation, because we all know half of the implementation might be happening in India or maybe some other countries where the moment it is a banking client, it is not the thing where we will be giving access to the laptops or everything. So That is where all the banks together, they went to the government and they got some approval. So they got some clearance that yes, first implement this, then implement this, then implement this. All the banks together, they had some negotiation with the government and they got it done. But in the meantime, all the US team members, they started coming together, working together. Forget about their roles, no designations, no roles, nothing. I'm on site, I will be just reading. No, they had to sit and do the deliverables. No weekend, no weekday, no night hours, nothing, no long weekends. They had to sit and do the deliverables. By the time we got the laptops delivered to our homes and we started getting that network access, connectivities and everything, we started picking up from there. Right? So these are real-time things. Anytime might happen. We never know. Yes, we know.
But what about the work balance?
First step, we need to take the we need to take a toss for one of it, for sure, right? So either we give the commitment or we don't want to. We as a organization need to take the decision. It is not just one single team or one single project. It is the entire bank or entire organization is at the risk at that point of time. So that's where it is not, might not be just at the role of a scrum master or a project manager, but the enterprise level, organization level leads or the managers or the architects, whoever is taking the decision, they need to take the call. What could be the impact for the business? What could be the impact for the customer? What could be the implication from the government? What if we don't implement? What could be the negative impact to the government? All those things need to be discussed. Accordingly, they will be taking a decision. And obviously, like the context is set. Yes, boss, forget about the weekends. There is a long weekend at that point of time for US, I guess Good Friday or something. So yes, boss, for now, forget about the long weekend and all those things. Be prepared to work. So try to give the commitment. That's what the context was said to the US folks.
Thank you.
Yes, we need to take a toss for one of it for sure. Like as Abhijit mentioned, right? So one of it might be a toss, either the work-life balance, or we might have to take a toss at the scope or the budget. Abhijit tried to mention about the budget, yes. So or the profit. Something might go for toss in that situations, but the long term we need to figure out. Okay, yes, now it happened. That's fine. Whatever happened, it happened. What if similar thing happens again? What's the plan B? What should be done in such cases? So any organization need to start coming up with the alternative plans. That's where Shashank and one of others mentioned the continuous learning or the cross training or reskilling needs to be focused on a regular basis. Okay, are we good?
Good.
Okay. And this question is like, I mean, just to give a generic example, this question is like, hey, what if Dhoni is not available for the match? Who will be doing the wicket keeping? No one else is an expert. What will you do? Do we wait until Dhoni, someone goes on sick or not available for a match to make sure none of the other is taking up that role? We need to plan. So that is what the continuous learning or the cross training reskilling is required, essential for any point of time. And I mentioned this example in one of the previous discussion. So what is it forget about the final of the World Cup, but what is the last league match? What is that the Indian team did? 9 bowlers did the bowling. Is there any specific reason? Yes. What if situation happens? What if the key bowlers are not available? What could be the strength or what could be the improvement for the other players? They want to take a trial. They did that. And of course, they get the wickets or they got the runs. That is all secondary. But yes, they want to do that resource or the team member utilization and try to see what is their strength, what is their weakness, or where we need to train them or where we need to coach them if anything is required. without giving a chance, how can you say, Kohli, you can't bowl or you shouldn't bowl? You're a batsman, you shouldn't bowl. What if some situation happens like all the specialist bowlers become sick in some of match? What if they get hurt or something happens? We can't wait the day. We can't do the match because all of my bowlers got hit or were sick. Right? Good.
Just to add that there is something called in organization, I think everyone knows, BCP, business continuity plan.
Business continuity plan.
Yeah, if anything goes for a toss, your infra, your ODC goes for a toss, and you are working for banking, as Satish said, then how you're going to mitigate? Just like COVID happened, none of them have a laptop with them, then how you're going to work, right? So you have to take care. And of course, maybe one of the reason will be the continuous learning that my organization, they gave ample opportunity to learn and upskill yourself. They gave free course for Coursera, Udemy. They have all the free courses, just grab it and do. We will going to pay. So one of the aspect will be, just like to upskill yourself and, try to utilize the time instead of going for another thing. So
Okay. Yes. So where is it? Okay. Let's discuss few more questions. How did you lead a Scrum in your previous organization? Share some insight about in detail from initiation to closure. Initiation to closure, it's a very lengthy discussion. Maybe we need to have a separate session or separate discussion altogether on it. Maybe let's schedule on it. But anyone want to give a quick take for it?
The project initiation to closure or?
Yes, project initiation to closure.
After the contract is signed or the SOW, everything is done, we sit with the client and then get the necessary requirements. So once everything is finalized, the costing, everything is finalized, we do a kickoff meeting and identify the resources who are all needed for the project. Are we operating in which agile framework also we decide. So the agile coach comes and then we will decide whether we're going for SAFe, we're going for Scrum or whatever it is in the planning meeting and in the kickoff meeting. And then necessary resources from the different departments will be assigned. For example, there are 4 teams, means the testing team will say 8 testers I will give. Developers will be joining. Around 16 developers will be joining, something like that. And then who is product owners and then business analyst, everyone will come and come together, and then we form the kickoff meeting and officially say that we kicked off the project. And then here planning wise, what we will be doing is we'll be getting the requirements. This is done by a separate team in our organization, Business Solution Guru, where they take all the requirements and convert them into user stories. And then we do the sprint 0, that is initial refinement, and then we will start the sprint 1 with the list of stories into it, and then we will start the sprint. Sprint planning will happen, and then prior to that there will be backlog refinement, and then we will refine a set of stories for the first sprint, and then sprint planning will happen, and then we will kick off the first sprint. Subsequently, other sprints for the first sprint will be refining for the second will be refining for the third, and then it goes on. If they are following anything similar to PI planning, the program increment planning, so we'll be doing it at a quarter level. So that is how the project goes. And slowly the increments will be delivered in every sprint or every iteration. And then every quarter we might have a release or something like that, we'll have it. And then we will pack it, test it, and then deliver it to the client. So the client can see the project growing right in front of his eyes. This is what an agile framework which is going on. And then once all the deliverables are delivered, and we do monitoring and controlling through various kind of charts and burn down charts, burn up charts, and velocity charts, and how the project is performing. Parallelly, the project manager will take into account the costing and scheduling part of it. The Scrum Master will run the project, and then finally what happens is we have a unit test, sorry, system and integration testing, penetration testing, performance testing. All levels of testings are done. Once the package is combined, then we'll do an end-to-end testing, and then we will deliver the solution to the client. This is what the quickest way that I can say this, because it takes a lot of time and a lot of activities are there. Hello?
Thanks, Vasu, for quickly summarizing and giving a glimpse of end-to-end perspective. That definitely helps.
Yeah, Vasu, only one thing, we as a Scrum Master, we should not use controlling in our statement.
Yeah. Since I know that since the end-to-end implementation, either we will be following the PMBOK methodology or some other methodologies we will be following. So that's why I just put that word end-to-end. There will be a controlling. Actually, we are more of a servant leaders rather than
exactly.
control.
Yes.
Yeah, because I got a hit on using that word in one of the interview, like why you're using the word
That's
control.
what, that controlling we should not use at all.
Controlling, advising, asking, directing. These are the terms we should avoid. We shouldn't use at all. Good. Okay. Yes. Okay. How do you resolve conflict? How do you negotiate? How do you track the project? Any situation-based questions. There are a lot of situation-based questions. Again, anyone want to take it up? How do you resolve conflict? Or how do you negotiate?
So for me, like to start resolving conflicts within the team, so we need to see that the root cause of the conflict first, and collaborate with the respective people. If it is a group addressing, or in the group addressing, if we know the conflict originating from specific people, we need to have one-on-one sessions with those specific individuals, and we need to ask them the reasons how we can resolve that conflict from the original place. That would be helpful for resolving the conflict. So we need to see that we need to have some plans, conflict resolving plans, so that the conflicts will not arise. That would be the ideal scenario for a Scrum Master or the project manager. So if they arise, they need to see the root cause analysis. Just resolving conflict from my side.
Hi everyone, Shivani here. Hello.
Yeah, hi Shivani.
Sorry, joined in late.
Sure.
My response to the conflict question is like, I would like to look at the, first of all, the root that caused the conflict, like why it led to the conflict and all. Then I will get the next step, how I'm going to resolve it. As in, for example, one particular user story is being, conflicted upon. For example, like PO is saying that it should not be taking that long, but dev team is saying that it might go for up to like eight story points, and PO is saying it should not be taking that long. So in that case, my role comes into the picture, and I have to differentiate like why it is taking so long and why it should be taking a shorter duration, and then coming to a point where both of the parties are ready to settle in. That is how I look at this scenario.
Thanks, Shivani. Vinod?
Yeah, actually, for dealing with conflict, okay, first I will believe that conflict should be resolved as soon as possible. If you ignore it, it will turn up in a different dimension. When I realize there is a conflict between two team members, we discuss with them one to one, try to understand the root cause of the conflict, what is their side of the story. Many other times, the reason of conflict is because of confusion or an ego. When I have a clarity on the root cause, we'll meet up with them together and let them understand my observation. If the confusion clear and highlight the need of working together as a team. Everyone has a different thought process. Having conflict is common, but on the same time, we need to focus on the cause why we are working together. And unless we not work as a team, it cannot be achieved.
Yes, Vasu. Thanks, Vinod.
On the whatever Shivani said, the problem comes only when there is the pointing happens. No, that's where the conflict comes. So, is there any resolution that we can bring in so that we can overcome that, or not overcome that? We can resolve that. One person will get 3 points, the other person will say 8 points, and then they'll fight with each other. This is my 3 points. I will stick on to 3. I need 8 points. This is one thing that we face in the day-to-day situations. That is coming as an interview question as well.
No, Srivan. Actually, see, this is due to lack of communication. It happens between the team. So as far as when you are open with the team, automatically the complete team is actively participating in everything what you are. So once they are participating, they will be having a close connect with each other. So when they when this, as you suggested, that they are fighting each other on that points, they will internally discuss first. Then only they will come up with the story point what you suggested at 3 and 5. There is no need of in the meeting. They will not do all these things if there is a close collaboration with them within the team.
Okay, got it.
This is all about the role of a scrum master only, where how he is actively keeping team active.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, let's
Yeah,
move on.
is that okay? If I'm wrong, let me just correct me.
I got the answer. I got the answer. And that's the way we have to handle it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we discussed on it, like how to switch from non-tech to SM or product roles, tips and tricks to crack interview without holding practical experience, but having CSM. Having CSM is like having a driver's license. It doesn't make us a perfect driver. So we need to do some hands-on. We need to start learning and understanding end-to-end perspective, what it is required. And if in case you already have some working experience, we need to start connecting the dots as you're mentioning from the beginning, right? So what is the project and what is the role of Scrum Master, how we can bring it up, what could be the challenges, what could be the questions, what could be the situations, and what's the end-to-end perspective we need to focus on. Accordingly, we need to start discussing on that. Okay. How to convince interviewer for 3 months notice?
It is a big deal.
It's a big dilemma for everyone.
I am on bench, immediately available. So this was good for me. So
For me,
answers.
yes, Shivani, go ahead.
How I used to look at this answer. First of all, is like how easy it is for you to let your resource go in a shorter period of time. Like as everybody is very important asset to their organization, they have certain set of liabilities with them that they cannot just leave incomplete and move on. So definitely, I also have certain projects that are going on under me, and I have to deliver those. Why? I have informed the organization not to give me some more projects that could become a liability for them or for me in the later stage. So definitely, and I can try to negotiate certain days with my HR, but definitely I need to do the proper handover and let the person comes in my place so that I can give a proper handover of my responsibility and I can come and join mandatory into the next organization.
Okay, thanks, Shivani. Anyone else? I came out of the 3-month notice period, so I'm not in that situation now. So for me, I just mentioned what is that the ground reality, and yes, my manager or my client won't accept or won't agree for new negotiation. So if in case you are comfortable, you are okay, you can proceed my profile. That's what I mentioned. That's it. I don't have a, I don't know at that point of time how to convince or how to set the context as such. Maybe even I'm looking till now.
Showcase your importance here.
Yes,
So your
yes.
importance only they will come to know that how important you are for the organization. That's the you are having this 3-month notice period there. Depends how you showcase. That is a very important thing.
Yes.
If you showcase,
Yes.
if you are not showing anything that you are not so important, then we will say, okay, we think of something new. And you are showcasing as you are very much important for the organization, but and they are not able to negotiate for lesser notice period also, then they may wait. They may agree with the notice period.
Absolutely. And this is a question where, you
Yeah,
can leave an impression how important you are.
So you have to showcase the importance and your skills about nothing else. How you are how much you are important for the organization. You have to showcase that. So since how many years of working there? So how was your career? Means how was your tenure? How you means so what were your achievements there? How was your relationship with your management? All that things.
Okay.
My answer to this question could be like how to convince interviewer for 3 months. You can give a little bit of assurance to that interviewer that I will not look for any counter offers. If you offer
Yes.
If you offer me a good package and if you are very much interested in joining that organization, and you can mention that I will not go for any counter offers. Even my existing organization offers me a better package, I will still go ahead with you. So that kind of assurance you can do, because it's all again a verbal assurance, but you can at least say that you are much interested and passionate about joining that organization.
Yes, there is one way.
Because actually you're showing either about assurance. Okay, if they are interviewed around with 3-4 people, okay, for the same role, how they will agree with your assurance? Because everyone in most of the companies 2-3 months notice periods there. No one is releasing you in 1 month.
So we can tell them agile is a main factor of the agile is the trust.
But for HR, he
So
is not
you have to
not
trust
sure
me.
about agile.
Again, you can
I do agree that trust is
mention
there,
that
but
you're chasing for
how HR will know about
quiet
these
option.
things? Nah, she will not know about agile and all this thing. She is only know about the things she was not convinced. How to convince? That is the question.
Yes.
HR is not more about. She may not be aware of agile and all this from role and responsibilities of this thing. But
Okay, that's a never-ending question.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Let's go
It
ahead.
depends on how you deal with that HR. That is most.
That again, it's not just that specific question or answer for that question. It all based upon how well we performed in the overall interviews as well. Even that
Correct.
matters. Not just based upon the answer for that single question, like a candidate, I mean HR or the panelist will be convinced. It all based upon like how well we perform in the other overall rounds. till that point of time. What if like we are like exceptionally well across the rounds, then they might be even okay with the 3 months or 4 months or 2 months to that matter, right? So, but what if like we are okay sort of thing, and they might find a better candidate than us, meeting their criteria, better, not better than us, but better candidate than us, meeting their criteria, maybe within a 1 or 2 months notice period, then obviously they might go for them. Right. So the different factors play a key role here, just for that single answer or for that question. Okay. Very good. Yeah. So the next one, strategies for scaling agile. Again, this is an overall vast topic. We are planning to do the scaling mentoring sessions as well. The safe specifically, like we will publish in the groups. We can start discussing around that as well. But just to give a quick glimpse of it, based upon the context of the project or the product or the solution we are working upon, we might go for scaling agile, not at the enterprise level, but at the program or the project level or module level. We could be doing some scaling implementation. What is it, the scaling? Why? The one of the key important aspect is like the number of dependencies coming across the teams. We know that the cross-functional team, the high-performing team, self-organizing team, but what if the teams are having heavy dependencies across the teams, the modules, the banking client, which I mentioned, right? So for that one single consumer banking application, both the web and mobile app, 4,000 team members worked on that one single consumer banking web and mobile application. So there is no logic like one single scrum team will be able to do it. And obviously, because everything is interlinked, everything is connected, we definitely need some logic or some way to bring the teams together. Forget about the framework, whether it is a safe, less, nexus, that is all secondary. But as an organization, we need to focus on how we can make sure the teams are coordinating among themselves. Teams are taking care of the dependencies. Teams are focusing on how they can do that continuous integration, the continuous implementation. And we had that release on demand, whatnot. A lot of things are there from our implementation perspective. So there are multiple factors which could be acting as a initial reason why we need to or why we would like to go to the scaling. Unfortunately, many cases, the way why half the organizations doesn't know why they are doing agile, same is the case, they don't know why they are doing scaling agile. Because someone proposed, someone recommended, or our competitor is doing it, let's start agile, let's start scaling agile. That's what the ground reality is happening, and we end up saying that hey, agile is not helping. The scaling is bringing a lot of challenges, complexities. That's the ground reality until we don't know what's the logic or the reason why we are doing anything. Okay. So we are supposed to start the scaling mentoring sessions last week itself, but due to some reason we delayed it. But maybe not next week, the subsequent week onwards, we will start having conversations on that as well, with the case studies, with the hands-on activities as well. Just watch in the groups. We will start publishing the details once we finalize it. Okay.
Satish,
yes.
group link, please.
Yes.
Group link, WhatsApp group link.
WhatsApp group link. Okay. I will. Can you ping me, Vasu? You are not in the WhatsApp group?
Which one? The one iPhone Agile, correct?
No. Okay. From where you got the link for today's session?
Suresh forwarded in his.
Suresh. Okay. Okay. I will share you my number. You can just ping me on WhatsApp. Okay. And we can discuss. Okay. Okay. And yes. What's the facilitation style in Agile? I don't have a facilitation style as such. Based upon the context, if in case you ask me, based upon the context, we will go with this is a open conversation. That's the reason we went up this lean coffee or open conversation. But in case it is a specific event, I will go by either picking a liberating structure technique or an approach, or based upon because I know the team, I know the okay, Sangeeta, you also need a WhatsApp chat invite. Let me share it. Okay, I will do that. So based upon the context of the team, based upon the context of the event, based upon the context of the participants, I will be picking up a facilitation technique or the style.
It's more of a, this is more of a, what to say? If you go for this, am I audible?
Yes, yes, yeah.
You go for this, I see Agile team facilitator, there is a certification for that. Go through that. They will tell you the different types of facilitation techniques.
Yes.
So to become an agile coach, team level agile coach, they will have this agile facilitation techniques.
Okay. Yeah. There are a few questions in the AHA slides as well. Let me quickly go through that. And I'm sharing that WhatsApp group link in the chat. You can join that. We have multiple groups, but that is one of the group, and it helps to get that discussion. Right. Let me quickly go through AHA slides, and if in case you're not in the AHA slides, you can join using this AHA slides link. We'll wrap it up by doing a quick, what do you say? The feedback session as well. So can we discuss on the program manager interview questions? Murali, program manager interview questions, maybe we can discuss offline because there are multiple questions and it is all, what do you say, the context specific and the JD specific. We can discuss on that. And is it mandatory to have a Scrum Master experience to crack the interview? If I have to say, it is not the experience what it matters, but it is how we present, how we project, how we showcase ourselves is all it matters to get that to crack the interview. Right. There's a what do you say? There is a dialogue in one of the Telugu movie. It's not like who answers the question in the class, but who answers the question in the exam is who succeeds. The same is the case. Like how well we project, how well we showcase our experience and perspectives in the interview is all it matters. That's what we need to focus on. Okay. And the next question, recently I attended an interview where I felt I was rejected by my answer to a question. How do you handle a conflict situation in your project and how you handle a low performing team? Who might not be just for that specific question or answer for that specific thing, but it might be what could be the reason is like it might be multiple factors coming to context. So what is like, how do you handle a conflict? We discussed a couple of situations, a couple of examples, Shivani, Vasu and others mentioned. So there are different ways how each of us handle a conflict in a project. So first we need to understand what's the conflict, why we need to do it, and how it is the thing we need to discuss or we need to figure it out. Accordingly, we can take it up. And how you handle a low performing team? Low performing team, first step is like we need to do a maturity assessment and we need to figure out what's the reason for the team to be a low performing, what's the factors driving the team to be a low performing, or what's the criteria behind the team to become a low performing or anything as such. So we need to start understanding it. Accordingly, we need to take the decisions or next steps further. Okay. Yes, Sangeeta, I will share the recording. And how to crack the interviews and impress the panel as if we were experienced. What strategies, tools, and techniques that we need to follow. Uh, there is no strategies, tools, and techniques, but one thing out I consider or I mention is like build a case study around your resume. Case study in the sense like what are the projects or what are the experience you're showcasing. We need to start building a case study around it, and it should be like a the case study should be like a Drishyam movie story, right? So whenever, wherever, whoever, however, whatever they ask, our answer should be around that case study, which are we prepare. We need to be prepared, we need to be ready around it, and accordingly we need to answer the question. So especially for the scrum masters, I mentioned this as a example, right? So let's suppose you are showcasing that you are working as a scrum master for 2 teams or 3 teams, for example. We need to logically consider what is the timings of your team events. Let me try to bring a Excel, which I prepared for my own reference.
Satish, sorry to interrupt. I've dropped you in the WhatsApp.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Yeah. So you're able to see my screen? No, Excel document?
Yes. Yes, we are able to see.
Yeah. So this especially for the scrum masters or any even the project manager, any roles, right? So you can start building up like what is your team size? What is the recommended versus what is your team size? If it is 1 team, you can mention here, or if it is 2 teams or 3 teams, accordingly you can mention, right? So and especially like this, what is the sprint duration? When is your sprint start and end? Where is your team located? Are team members co-located? Dependent teams location? How is the dependencies handled? Where are your stakeholders located? Do you have a dedicated PO or a shared PO? Where is the PO located? How is it coordination with the PO if he is from a different location or in a client location? The proxy PO or a business analyst, how BA is coordinating with product owner. And these are the key important things. Right? See, when is your sprint planning? Let's suppose if you say 4 hours is your sprint planning and you are working as a scrum master for 3 teams. You're gone for a toss. Right? So accordingly, you need to fill up this sheet for your own reference so that like, especially the review and retrospective is where I observed many folks got stuck. They'll say, hey, I'm working as a scrum master for 3 teams. Well, good, excellent. So how do you handle your demo and retrospective? All the 3 teams are closing their sprint on the same day. So how you as a scrum master facilitate the retrospective or facilitate the demo? What is it you do? Or how is it your teams are dealing in that case, right? And what is your initial velocity versus average velocity? All these things start. Sure. I will share this with the recording as well, right? So all these things start listing down and build your own case study accordingly, right? So this is like one of the starting point. This won't answer everything as such, but if you start framing yourself that yes, this is my sprint planning timings, this is what my demo and retrospective timing. So any point, any time you get a question around this, you will be able to answer. Right? So you need to do that micro level preparation. Just don't go just like that for any interview. Do your own preparation and to the possible action, to the micro level preparation, and then accordingly. That way, if you yourself start coming up with all these details, that's when it helps you to be able to explain or able to justify or convince that yes, you actually have the hands-on experience of playing a role of a scrum master, or At least even if they get to know that hey, this candidate is not having the hands-on experience, but yes, he's worth to play the role. He is capable of playing that role. Even that makes a major difference. Are you good for that context? In the same way, I have this for the release train level or the safe level as well. The safe ceremonies and everything. I will share this Excel. We can take a look at it and start filling in your own tweak adjustments as required.
You have for the release train engineer as well?
Not the release train engineer, but yes, I have for that. Yeah, we can tweak for the same for release train. Let's suppose you are an RT for one release train or two release trains. Accordingly, you can start tweaking this. So the same thing we can tweak, like instead of the PI planning comes, then the Scrum of Scrum, then the inspect NetApp, then the sprint demo or the release level demo, the product refinement. We can tweak adjust accordingly.
Okay.
Right? Yes. You see the same way, like I filled in the ART level, like how frequent the POCing happens, how the teams are collaborating, coordinating, which value streams your release train belongs to, how many release trains are in your value stream, how various release trains coordinate among themselves, and any tools are used for PI planning. What is the collaboration tools for PI planning? What is a video conferencing tool you use? How the PI planning happens? All these things I already, and especially if it is a release train, yes, you need to consider about this. What is the locations of your release train? What is the time zones? Whether it is a based upon the time zones, this answer for this question should vary. You can't say I have teams across 3 different time zones, but still we do 2 full day PI planning. That's it. Right? So we need to start whatever I just try to come up with whatever thought at that point of time from my side. So start tweaking, adjusting, and start making your own version of this document or any equivalent for this.
Sure. This can be expanded, correct?
Yes, obviously. This is a draft version, right? So in one of the similar discussion, I prepared this on the fly and I have that. It is not revised after April 2022. I have to do some homework on this, but I can share this, what are the document I have, and we can discuss further on it.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Okay. That brings us, we exceeded 20 minutes. Of course, it's not the end. This is just the beginning. I will approve all the WhatsApp requests once we are done. So if in case you can come back to this AHA slides quickly by joining this and we can give the feedback. Or even for the top mate, you might have got the feedback link. You can just give any suggestions, any guidance or any feedback.
Satish,
Just feel free to.
can you please go back to the Excel and please open the save ceremony slide?
Sure.
Okay.
Team ceremonies remain same, but the terminology could be a little bit different. So here I mentioned like who are the attendees, whether mandate or facilitate. Of team level might not be different, but the program level, the RT will be facilitator and the Scrum of Scrum. Here the mandate and optional starts coming at the program level.
Okay.
Satish, I have to log off for certain reasons. I will like to connect with you offline today.
Sure.
Yeah, and for before log off, like I have also mentioned in the chat, if you have any opportunities in Pune or in Mumbai, kindly let me know. Due to some personal reasons, I cannot travel to Bangalore because they're asking me to go to Bangalore.
Sure.
It's not, yeah.
Opening for me, I'm looking out for Bangalore.
We have the jobs group as well. I will share that whoever joins the WhatsApp group right today, I will share the jobs group as well. If in case you're not part of the jobs group, you can join there as well. Of course, what are the job opportunities we are getting to know? We are sharing that. Not like we are the recruiters. No, I'm also full-time working. So what are the opportunities we are getting to know? Different sources, and we are sharing it with the groups.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I'm part of the jobs group.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Good.
SSAG, I think.
SSAG, yes. SSAG gurus. Yes.
I'm part of that. I'm not part
Okay.
of
Satish,
groups.
Yes.
hello, Satish, one last question before we, we say bye. So, may I?
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah. So Satish, recent days, what I have seen is, even, people who have not completed their PMP or who are not part of, being a Scrum Master, everyone is trying to, do CSM, and at the same time, as soon as you do CSM or any other course, they also opt for, this safe certification. So why is it, so trending nowadays that people, I mean, is it very necessary or it is a need of the hour to do, safe certification, and who should do it and why to do it and when to do it basically is the question.
No, safe certification is not mandatory, not required. Instead, the safe knowledge and idea is sufficient. That's what I mentioned, right? So we are planning to start that safe mentoring sessions as well. Again, my perspective, I'm an SPC. If you want, I can do the training my own, right? But I don't recommend that. Instead, what is it? The perspective is like start learning and understanding the why scaling or what's the benefit of scaling or how the scaling is implemented. Right. So from that perspective itself, I prepared this Excel in one of the previous mentoring sessions. Right. At the team level, at the release train level, from the safe implementation perspective, we will start discussing on that on a weekly basis, Abhijit. Okay. Then
All right, thank you.
until unless it is not explicitly asked in the job description that safe certification is mandatory, I don't prefer to do it. Having a knowledge and idea of implementation is sufficient. The reason, any safe certification, typically if you want to go on your own and do it, they will cost you 42 to 45K plus taxes. Right? What's the ROI? What's the benefit we will be getting by just doing a certification? I see. I myself is a SPC. I myself train on safe certifications. I myself is giving that statement. Right. So we need to understand the logic. See, the safe certifications works well when these are implemented in-house, internal. When you say internal, the entire release train. See, here we are talking about the 125 to 12 teams, 50 to 125 team members. So when all that 50 to 1.
We lost it, Satish.
Maybe voice jack.
You're able to hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. What I'm saying is like when all these 50 to 125 team members or the scrum masters of those 5 to 12 teams come together and do the certification or do the learning, that's when it works well. Right? When you alone individually do a training or certification, and you yourself might struggle when the other organization members or other teams are not implementing safe. You will have a certificate in your LinkedIn, but the implementation experience you won't get. And whenever you appear for any interview, obviously you won't be able to answer the questions or you won't be able to justify giving the answers. Because this is just the starting point. The points whichever we mentioned in this Excel is this just the starting point. There will be lots of challenges. Till now, today we discussed only about the conflicts within a team or the low performing team. Here, the scaling, we will be talking about 5 to 12 teams. You as a Scrum Master should coordinate with the 5 to 10 other Scrum Masters for your teams. So it's not just your team. You need to coordinate with other teams. You need to coordinate with other product owners. So how well you coordinate, how well you facilitate, how well you communicate, how the dependencies are handled across the teams, all those things come into it, right? See, when the basic one single team level, if we are struggling, any of us, right? So it could be the struggle will be duplicate what not duplicate multiplicated at the release train or the safe implementation level, right? Are you good?
Good. Yeah.
Yes.
And
Thanks.
certificate, yes, Satish, you are speaking about it. This one certificate, it can be done in one day also, right? If it is very much needed.
We know which certificate you're talking about?
The certificate, this one.
I'm a safe certified agilist as well.
Safe one.
Safe minimum is a 2 days certification session.
Correct.
See, certification can be done over a weekend. That is fine. But what's the benefit out of it?
Nothing.
Exactly. When we don't get the benefit out of it, what's the use of spending our time and effort and obviously our own personal expenses on it?
Satish,
Right?
maybe the certification can be helpful to be shortlisted for the interview. That is the first step. For that purpose, people are willing to do certification. That's the reason, I think.
Yes, Satya, I agree with that. But my point is,
Safe knowledge we am having. On that basis also you can get calls from the recruiters. It's not about you should have a certificate. It's better to have, but if you have any challenges are there in current situation, then don't do it. Just have a knowledge of it and you can apply for the job.
yes. So see, my point is, definitely it will help for filtering the resume. But in the interviews, when they start asking the real-time questions, if you are unable to answer, if you're unable to justify or explain, it's of no use, right? So that's what my point. Just don't do the certification. Understand the logic, understand the implementation, understand the end-to-end perspectives as well. Just don't stop with the certification. Is my point. Okay.
Yeah.
So
yes, actually, I also learned something new from you. Because I'm also I'm looking for a master role now. I have 13 years of experience in domestic project management and just thinking to switch over as a master.
Sure.
IT.
Sure.
Earlier I was in non-IT, so now I'm thinking to move in IT.
Sure, sure, Vinod. Yeah, we can discuss offline and we can discuss further if in case anything is required. Okay. Yeah. And as mentioned, like if in case any one of you are explicitly looking for safe certification, let me know. We can discuss as a group and we can do as well. But apart from the certification, we are planning to do the actual hands-on of the safe end-to-end implementation perspective. We'll start planning the sessions.
Satish, I will enroll for that safe one because I have experience in safe as well. But the current company which I'm working is not going for safe. They have only taken the PA planning of safe and they are working Scrum. So it's
okay.
That is what.
Sure, sure, definitely. I will publish in the groups, Vasu.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Satish.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Satish.
Yeah, bye.
Have a nice weekend. For taking out time and for helping us.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Satish.